10 best places to visit in Italy. So make sure to watch the full video. Few places rank as high on travelers' bucket lists as Italy. Whatever your taste in travel, you'll satisfied in this country that is at once exotic and familiar. History, art, food, music, architecture, culture, sacred sites, charming villages, and stunning scenery are all around, and in an atmosphere that only the most confirmed curmudgeon could fail to enjoy. From the soaring Dolomite Mountains in the north to the beaches of Puglia and the ancient temples of Sicily, Italy is filled with outstanding places to see. These range from magnificent natural and scenic wonders to some of the greatest masterpieces of art and architecture the world has known. No matter where you choose, you can't go wrong. Plan your sightseeing with our list of the best places to visit in Italy. 1. Rome. Both for its history as the capital of much of ancient Europe and for its present-day role as one of Europe's most vibrant cities, for most tourists traveling to Italy, Rome heads the list of places to visit. Relics of its ancient glories, the Colosseum, the Forum, the Pantheon, the Appian Way, and the Palatine Hill vie, with the vast riches of the Vatican as the top attractions. But between the important sites like the Sistine Chapel and Michelangelo's Pieta, take time to enjoy the city itself. Relax in the Borghese Gardens, eat a little on the Spanish Steps, explore the narrow streets of Trastevere, sip morning cappuccino in cafes, window shop on the Via Veneto, and toss a coin in Trevi Fountain, so you can return again and again. It will take several trips to see it all. 2. Florence. The showcase of the Italian Renaissance, Florence can at times seem like one giant art museum. The Duomo, the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, is a landmark of world architecture, topped by its gravity-defying massive dome. Together with its marble-inlaid bell tower by Giotto, and the octagonal baptistry with its incomparable bronze doors by Ghiberti, this is one of the world's finest ensembles of Renaissance art. Half a dozen art museums brim with paintings and sculpture, while more masterpieces decorate its churches and palaces. Before you overdose on art in the Uffizi Gallery and Pitti Palace, stroll through the Boboli Gardens and explore the artisan studios and workshops of the Old Trarno, or shop for leather in Santa Croce. 3. Venice. Who could fail to love a city whose streets are made of water, whose buses are boats, and where the songs of gondoliers linger in the air? It is a magic city, and its major attraction to tourists is the city itself. The hub of the city is the broad Piazza San Marco, St. Mark's Square, surrounded by several of its top tourist attractions. The Great Basilica of St. Mark stands beside the Doge Palace, and overlooking both is the tall Campanile. Gondolas congregate at the end of the plaza in the Grand Canal, and in the other direction, a gate under the clock tower leads into a warren of narrow, winding passageways where you're sure to get lost on the way to Rialto Bridge. But getting lost is one of the greatest pleasures of Venice, where a postcard scene awaits around each corner. 4. Tuscan Hill Towns. The undulating landscape of Tuscany is crowned by stone towns whose foundations go back to the Etruscans. Each sits atop a hill, and many still have the castles and towers that once defended their commanding positions. It's difficult to choose one above the others, as each has its own architecture, art, character, and story to tell. Fairly bristling with towers and enclosed in walls that are largely intact, San Gimignano looks much as it did in the Middle Ages, when it was an important stop on the pilgrim's route to Rome. Volterra was an important Etruscan center before the Romans came and still has remains of both civilizations today. The tourist attractions of Arezzo are the legacy of the many artists, architects, and poets who lived there. 5. Milan. Although Milan is a major entry point for tourists because of its airport, it's often overlooked as a destination of its own. That's a shame, because Milan has one of the highest concentrations of artistic and architectural attractions in all Italy, and for those interested in design and fashion, not to mention shopping, it's a must. Duomo, Milan's massive cathedral, is among the world's most magnificent churches and finest example of the flamboyant Gothic style. La Scala is the world's most prestigious opera house. Da Vinci's The Last Supper fills the wall of monastery, and throughout the city are museums and palaces filled with some of the world's finest art. And no fashionista can resist a stroll through the famed Quadrilatero. 6. Lake Como. Italy's most beautiful lake, Como has been the favorite summer retreat of the rich and famous since ancient Romans, led Milan's summer heat to cool off in villas along its steep shores. Later villas decorate its tightly clustered towns, especially pretty Bellagio. artfully set on a point where the three narrow arms of the lake meet. A microclimate makes Como's western shore temperate even in winter, so the white peaks of the Alps just to the north can be viewed between palm trees and camellias. Don't overlook the town of Como on the southern shore, well worth a stop before boarding a steamer to explore the lake. Just to the west of Lake Como is Lake Maggiore, with its own attractions. To the east is Lake Garda, a summer playground filled with water sports and other things to do. 7. Amalfi Coast and Capri. The high, precipitous Amalfi Peninsula juts sharply into the Mediterranean just south of Naples, forming the southern rim of Naples Bay. It's hard to imagine a more beautiful or unlikely setting for the towns that spill down its steep slopes. Streets in most of these picturesque towns are stairways, and houses seem glued to the cliffs behind them. Flowers bloom everywhere, and below the towns are beaches caught in coves of emerald water. The Amalfi Drive along the southern coast is one of the world's great scenic routes. Off the end of the peninsula, and easy to reach by regular ferries, is the fabled island of Capri, with its blue grotto sea cave, lavish villas, and lush gardens. Sorrento, on the northern coast of the Amalfi Peninsula, is a good base, an easy day trip from all the things to see and do in the region. 8. The Cinque Terre. The 5 towns that cling to the steep, rocky Mediterranean coast north of La Spezia were almost impossible to reach by land until the railway connected them by tunneling through the headlands that separate them. Today, the trail along the cliffs that locals once used to travel from town to town is one of Italy's great hikes. The shortest and widest of its sections, between Manarola and Riomaggiore, is known as the Via Delamore, and will be closed until sometime in 2022 due to a landslide. Although hiking the trail is the goal of most tourists, don't overlook the pleasures of lingering in these little villages. Riomaggiore and Vernazza, with their narrow streets dropping down to tiny rock-bound harbors, are the most filled with character, and despite its recent popularity with tourists, the Cinque Terre remains one of Italy's most appealing attractions. 9. Pisa and Lucca. These 2 nearby towns are worth visiting while you're in Tuscany, the first for the exceptional Campo dei Miracoli complex and the other for its endearing charms. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, actually the campanile for the adjacent cathedral, is a well-known Italian icon and forms the centerpiece of a UNESCO World Heritage Site that also includes the cathedral, baptistry, and Camposanto. The highlight of the impressive baptistry is Nicola Pisano's intricately carved freestanding pulpit, a masterpiece of Romanesque sculpture. Completing the ensemble is a museum displaying some of the most beautiful gold and silver work of the Middle Ages and Renaissance. 10. Verona. The compact historic center of this former Roman stronghold is embraced by a deep curve in the Adige River. Dominating its heart is the remarkable well-preserved 1st-century Roman arena, scene of the world-renowned Summer Opera Festival. Several Roman arches are mixed among the medieval and Renaissance buildings, many of which show Verona's long history as part of the Venetian Empire. Alongside the river stands the large Castlevecchio, a castle built in the 14th century, guarding a brick-arched bridge, Ponte Scaligero. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.